All right. Hey, everyone. I'm here with Dave Kennedy. Hey, Dave.
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm great. How are
Good.
you?
I'm good. I'm good. Staying busy.
Good. I know. It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Dave is with Fidelity Land Title, and we wanted to do a title update. Dave, I'm getting a lot of questions about wiring funds.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about is it something we should be nervous about? What are some tips
Right.
about buyer and seller wiring their funds?
Yeah. Especially since all this COVID thing has gone on, wiring money has become more and more prevalent in these transactions.
It's really
It
easier.
is. It is. And the great thing about a wire is it's pretty instantaneous as far
Right.
as the funds. So if say you're a seller and we come to our closing and you have proceeds coming back to you, say $25,000, we issue you a check, you take it to your bank has to, you have to physically go to your bank, or sometimes you can do the snap deposit. But still, there's usually a 2 or 3 day float where they confirm the check is good and all that. Now with a wire, as soon as we wire it and goes into your account, it's good funds. That's typically why in these real estate transactions, we want to work with wires because wires are instantaneous and they're immediately
Right.
good and they can't be reversed. So and
But what
especially,
was all the issue with people being nervous
yeah.
about
So,
wires?
so the reason why there's a lot of people nervous about wires in real estate is because there is a lot of fraud in our industry. There are specific frauds that take place, even in the Cincinnati area, where there are people all over the world trying to hijack the transaction to try to get people to wire money to the wrong accounts. So whether it
Oh,
would be a buyer wiring money to me as a title company, or trying to get my title company to wire money to somebody that's
wherever.
not a seller or
So
not a
how do
bank.
we ensure that it's not a fraudulent transaction?
So the best way to be able to do that is work with Fidelity Land Title.
Obviously.
Right. No, but on top of that, so there's certain things that you can do. One of the best ways to do it is to physically hand over instructions, wire instructions, whether it be us handing them over to a buyer when they're dropping off earnest money, or if you're a seller at a closing, we're going to have you fill out a form with your wire instructions, and you're going to sign off. And then we have a couple other programs that we use that help verify people's information, wire instructions, things that
Before it gets wired.
correct.
Okay, got it.
Yep. And there's some insurances that you can get with it, and you can even actually even buy insurance to cover your transaction. But there's all kinds of ways. Obviously, securely transferring your information, whether it's physically, is actually the best.
Yeah.
But if you're not, you want to use a secure method, whether it's encrypted email or using somebody's encrypted secure site. And then always the best thing to do is to call to verify wire instructions
Hmm.
before sending any money. And you don't want to call a number in an email. You want to call a verified number that
Right.
that somebody that you're working with. Because if you receive a fake email saying, hey, wire your money here, there's probably going to be a phone number at the bottom of it. And
Right.
when you
That's
call
fake.
it, it's not actually us, or it's not
Right.
actually, so the best way to do is always to call and verify before sending any funds. So,
Yeah, we've been lately, any buyers that we've worked with, we've been wiring the earnest money over to you guys, or
yep,
having them either drop it off or wire it over. It's so
yep,
much easier
yep.
because
The
it's just
great
right there.
Right. Yeah. And then you don't have to worry again, like you're not balancing your checkbook because, it's like, oh, when did that check cash? No, and it's instantaneously in our account. It's
Right.
secure. And then again, there's no face-to-face interaction. So it's one less, face-to-face contact that you're having to do with people, especially right now with the COVID thing and trying to limit interaction. Wire transfers have become
I've
just kind of
noticed
the way
too,
to operate.
on the ones that I've wired, I've done it just on my mobile app and they
Hmm.
haven't charged a fee. But
Yeah.
I've noticed though title companies are charging a fee for a wire.
Yeah, so wire title companies have a fee that they have to pay with their bank that they pay
Got
for
it.
each incoming and outgoing wire. So if we're receiving
Ew. You guys
wires,
need to negotiate that better,
yeah,
Dave.
well, that's just it. It's the power of negotiation to how
Yeah.
much you're going to be paying the bank. But the banks do require wire fees to
Okay.
send and to receive wires. So
So the
typically when you
fee
see a
then
wire
would be
fee,
you not, but then you wouldn't have to go and drop the check off and take time
correct,
out of your day, which,
right.
depending on what that's worth too.
Correct. So yeah, it's kind of an offsetting, kind of, just cover the cost
Sure, that makes sense.
to handle. It's kind of an ease of experience type fee that you pay in a sense. And again, usually it's just us, covering the cost to, I
Right.
can't speak for every title company, but to cover the cost for doing
No, that makes sense. So then if somebody's closing like kind of late in the afternoon, isn't
Mhm.
there a cutoff where
Yep.
the proceeds from the seller can be
Yep.
wired to their account?
Right. So every company's different. So our wire cutoff time is 5 o'clock. So if
Oh,
the
that's
closing,
late. Usually
yeah.
they're a lot. Oh, that's good.
Well, it's again, that's a benefit of working with me and
Yeah,
Fidelity. I'm going to be
right.
sitting there every day to the end of the day, making sure I get everything out the door. But yeah, so in a sense, every wire that you send actually goes through the Federal Reserve.
Okay.
So say I'm wiring money to you. I have your bank account information. Say you bank at PNC Bank. So
Mm-hmm.
I initiate the wire. It goes out of my account. It actually goes through the Federal Reserve.
Okay.
Federal Reserve checks it to make sure you're not a terrorist
I'm
or a
not.
money launderer or
I'm
anything like
not.
that. And
Okay.
then they release it, and then it goes to your bank, and then it's
When
credited
can
to
I
your account.
expect your wire, Dave?
I know, for real. I wish I had something to send to you. So we've got some deals going on.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
but
So
that's another thing is agents have been having their commissions actually wired to them as well,
yeah,
as a way to not have to again have it instantaneous.
I mean, we have it wired to EXP.
Right. So it's
It's
just
just a
super
lot
easy.
easier.
Right. Again, the money's in your account right away. You're not waiting for checks to clear.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many times I've sent, oh, this check, we lost this check,
We
or
lost it, right?
it's stale. You don't have any of those issues with wire transfers.
It's just done, and then you can get the confirmation number. Have you had a time where it's been intercepted? Because you can't really get that money back, right?
Right. So no, it has not happened to us, and we try to
Knock on
set.
wood, Dave.
Yeah, exactly. We try to set up. We have all kinds of checks and procedures
Mm-hmm.
in place. We try to notify people up front about the risks in our transactions specifically. We actually have a website set up that we can send consumers right off the bat that lets them know. It's a short little video, breaks down how the fraud takes place in our real estate industry, how there's people
Okay.
trying to intercept the transaction. Just try to, the best thing for us to do is inform the customers, the
Right.
realtors, the loan officers. This is how we operate. Be aware of this because it is a problem. But the thing is you're right. If it were to get intercepted, it's out of the country within minutes. And the
Right.
chances of you getting it back are practically
Very
none.
slim.
So even, it gets intercepted, it goes to this bank, and a
But
lot
you
of
guys
times,
do have a lot of safety precautions and measures
correct.
and things that you take. I mean,
Yeah. We
so
try to,
that's really good. Yeah.
right. And sometimes it even gets to the point where people are like, wow, this is actually, kind of difficult. Well, no, a reason why we have all these things in place or checks and balances in place are to protect the consumer because it is large sums of money. The reason why people specifically attack real estate transactions there's a couple reasons. One is that it's large sums of money.
Right.
And two, there's a lot of people involved. There's
Right.
agents, there's buyers, there's sellers, there's title companies, there's lenders, there's brokers. There's all these different people that are involved in the transaction. And a lot of times, you're never going to have the same group of 5 businesses working together at the same time. Me and you work a lot together.
Right.
We work with lenders, together.
Yeah.
And, we have this relationship and we know what to expect with each other.
Right.
But as far as, the other agents or the other brokers, the buyers and the sellers, those are all different every time. So those are the types of transactions that, fraudsters are specifically going after.
Yeah, but I mean too, even if you're driving your check, or even if you get your check and you're driving it to the bank, like you can lose it, you can anything can happen,
Right. Yeah. And that's just it is that so we're having all these issues with wire fraud going on right now in real estate industry. Before this, we had issues with bogus cashier's checks.
Right.
So it doesn't, anytime you again have large sums of money and different parties getting involved that aren't working with each other on a regular basis, that's going to be just an eye for fraudsters. And even if we move to something else, until maybe me and you spoke about moving to some sort of blockchain technology,
Right.
I think we're going to keep running into these fraud type
Of
issues.
course you are, because it seems easy. But I think for me, the wiring is actually, it's not only more it's more convenient, it's more efficient, it feels safer to me because you do have more of a chain of it, right?
Right.
It's not like,
Exactly.
well, Dave handed me a check at
Right.
2 p.m. and then
Right.
you know what I mean?
Or, yeah, you handed a check off to so and so and so and so, brought it to them, and then it got picked up by Susie at the, no, no, no.
Right.
It's
It's
like, here's the
easier.
wire instructions. And again, that's why it's always great to work with the same people all the time, because my operations aren't going to change.
Right.
That at the 11th hour, and your buyer gets some sort of email saying, hey, Dave's wire instructions changed at 500.
No,
It's not true.
it's not
And
right.
again, and that's why you want to, always work with people that you trust, because, this is, it's a very real thing. And I've got stories about agents and lenders and individuals that have actually had this type of fraud
Oh,
happen to them
it's
in
terrible.
Cincinnati. Luckily none of it at our company, but just buyers that are out just straight out of luck, large sums of money. So.
It's awful. Well, if anybody has any other title questions, they can certainly message you on Facebook and LinkedIn where we post this, or call Dave at Fidelity Land Title. Thanks a lot, Dave. It's always informative.
I appreciate it.
Have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye now.
Bye.